The most hard-rocking member of the band tries his hand at a little bit of a fusion of rock and disco. Dancer, next on Crown Jewels. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Crown Jewels here on the PLD Product Network. I'm your host, PLD, and a sincere welcome back. If you saw my post, I did take a couple of weeks off, had some difficult times in the PLD household, but we are on the mend and moving forward, and hopefully we'll get back to a more consistent schedule here as we continue through Hot Space, Queen's album from 1982. And this track, the second track on the album, Dancer, written by Brian May, who is definitely probably the most averse to the dancey, funkier side that Queen tried to do with this record. But he did do his best to give it the old college try to give it a more of a dancey feel. Although it's still got some pretty hard rocking moments in it, unsurprisingly here. I got a few notes, a few quotes. We got two versions to listen to this week. The album version from Hot Space 1982, and of course we have an early mix, which was played at a convention in 2006. Yes, it's a convention demo, which if you've listened to the podcast before, you know I've heard a bunch of convention demos and they're always interesting to listen to. However, given the nature of the recording, it's unlikely it'll be my crown jewel version of Dancer, but we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. And the reason why I can't say for sure yet is I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Back in the day when we first started this podcast, I would kind of do the whole thing, shoot the whole thing live, listen to things live, and give you the whole shebang live. Now I've kind of tended to try to get things done in a little bit more of a quicker fashion, a little bit more of an easier fashion, get things in while I can. I tend to listen to the tracks before I do the recording. I'll listen to all the versions, take notes on them the night before, and when I come to record it, I just kind of insert my musings kind of piecemeal as it is. But today I'm doing it live. I'm doing the whole thing live. I'm going to be listening to it as I talk about it, and we will go from there. How have you listened to it? How are you going to listen to it? Well, yeah, I'm not going to get a copyright strike on this. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into the show notes. In the show notes, you'll see a link to a Google Doc. On that Google Doc will be links to the various versions, the two versions today we're going to listen to. So when I tell you to, I'm going to have you pause me. Then we'll go listen to the track, and then you'll come back and I can talk about it. But first up, let's go to some notes and quotes from Dancer. Again, I mentioned written by Brian May. Features Freddie Mercury on lead and backing vocals. Features Brian May on guitars, backing vocals, drum machine, and synth bass. And Roger Taylor on drums, tambourine, and backing vocals. That's right, this track is John Deaconless. John Deaconless, and a quote by him in 1982. I don't know if he was very happy about it. He said, Brian played synth bass on Dancer, so I'm redundant in a sense. It's always hard to tell what was intoned by that with just by reading a text. I never did see the video interview or anything like that about it. So it could be that John was just basically just stating a fact, or he might be saying that he was not thrilled with being redundant in a fact. Who knows? Another quote I have from Brian May regarding dancers. The interviewer asked him on the record in 1982 if he used a slide guitar on Dancer. And Brian says, no, that's guitar and parallel harmonies. Those aren't my favorite harmonies, really. I much prefer guitar harmonies which aren't parallel. There are very few people who have done them. The real interest in guitar harmonies comes from where they're crossing over, diverging, and converging. Somehow on Dancer, it seemed right to do those parallels. All right. That's it. Those are the notes. Those are the quotes. We did not get a live version because the band has never attempted this live, as far as I know. Maybe in a sound check, or maybe it's an unrecorded version somewhere, but has never leaked out. So as far as I know, the band never played it live. So we only got, like I said, the album version and the early mix. And what we're going to listen to first is the album version. So why don't you pause me, click on that link, come back, and we shall talk about it. And there you have it. The first thing I want to get out of the way right away is I really just don't like the synth bass on it. The synth bass feels so out of place, honestly, especially when you just coupled in like the second verse and on, and Brian kind of couples it with his real guitar work. It just feels so strange. You have John Deacon who plays a wonderful bass. Why are you having him sit on the bench, and why aren't you having him play this bass? Brian just, I don't know if John didn't want to play on it. I don't know if Brian thought it sounded better as far as the 80s, early 80s disco-y sound made it sound better. I don't know what it is, but either way, I mark me as one against. It's my least favorite part of the song, and yeah, it just feels like a tragedy for that. Now, that being said, this does have a lot of hard rock elements for the people who dismiss this album as basically being a disco dance album. Sure, there are elements of it, absolutely. This is far cry from Queen 2, far cry from Sure Heart Attack and those albums, but there's definitely still some of that hard rock in motion here. I mean, Brian's guitar work kicks in, it's definitely solid. It's got some great guitar solos in there, some hot fucking guitar solos. We got some nice little beats and bits at the end, some nice burn moments there at the end. Freddie's vocals are phenomenal. They're without a doubt awesome vocals. The falsetto vocals make it work. It kind of feels that rhythm. Freddie really gets those rhythmic vocals going, especially down there towards the end, to really get thrown in there. The ba that cries moments, and you can get the title of the album, the hot space moments and everything. And it's a good track overall. I mean, definitely got some moments in there. It's got that nice fusion of disco and rock, and as Brian would do. I mean, Brian's gonna not compromise his hard rock style, even if he wants to try to do a part of the theme, a thematic version, of at least the first couple tracks on the album. Interesting note, the ending there, you heard that kind of German speak, Guten Morgen, Sie wuchsen so werden. Yeah, it's probably horrible. I just slaughtered it, I'm sure. But it is a German hotel room in Munich was a recording that was done on their phone there. Basically, translates to "as good morning, you wanted to be woken up." It's a wake up message from a hotel. Why it's in there, I have no idea. I've never really seen Brian talk about it too much, but it's thrown in there at the end, like Brian tends to do, like a thunderclap in on the jazz album. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? So. All right, there you go with that. Why don't we take a listen to an early version from the convention demo from 2006? Go find it, come back, and we will talk about it, and then we'll rate and rank and all that fun stuff. Well, in case you missed it, that was the property of Queen Productions. Yes. If you haven't heard me talk about these before, basically the band would play the archives. Greg Brooks would play these at conventions throughout every time they go to Queen conventions, especially the big Queen convention in the UK. And they would play out these different early versions, demos, and everything else. And they decided they didn't want to let these leak out in case they want to use them for some kind of future project or whatever. So they would basically cover it up with that. It was the only way that Queen Productions would allow it to be played to kind of prevent bootlegging. Well, it didn't really work. It's like you got bootlegged the hell out of. Unfortunately, though, it means that we have to hear them saying "property of Queen Productions" over the top of the entire recording, so that kind of ruins it. Which is why you'll never hear or never see me probably put this any convention demo as a crown jewel or a best version for our ultimate playlist. But beyond that, this actually is not even that much of a difference from what the final version of. In fact, the synth bass sounds so close that I wouldn't be surprised if they use the synth bass from the demo or the early version just on the finished copy. It would make sense because it doesn't seem like it's anything new or different, and it seems a little tired, to be honest with you, to kind of do that, almost like lazy of the band. But I don't know. They had their choice to make. But basically, it's just an earlier version. We are missing the chorus. We have the dancer part, the dance. But then Freddie doesn't really sing much after that. There's some missing lyrics here and there. This is obviously much earlier on in development of the song. Do you have some interesting percussion that was added in the middle there? Some more of the Freddie ad libs as he tends to do. It's why it's always great hearing a Freddie take, even different Freddie takes, because he'll ad lib something here or there, and it sounds like, oh, that's very interesting. I want to hear more of that. And instead of the ending, as it does in the album version, we have a more percussive ending, kind of trails off with the percussion. But basically, at the end of the day, it doesn't really change your view on the track either way. I wouldn't think it doesn't change my view anyway. It's just an earlier version, some missing stuff, some not much to really talk about as far as moments that go, oh, this is why I want to hear this version again. So, all right, we're in the final stretch now. All we got to do now is rate the track on a scale of 1 to 11, because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects. We also see if it slides into my top 10 Queen-related tracks of all time as we've been going through. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. I'm just going to get that one right out of the way. All the tracks in that top 10 are at 10.5 out of 11 or higher. Dancer, I'm going to give this one a 6, maybe a 6. That's kind of generous, I'll be honest with you. Probably maybe deserving of a 5.5. I do like the hard rock and riffs when the chorus comes. I do like Brian's guitar solo. I do like Freddie's falsetto vocals. But at the end of the day, that synth bass really drags it down for me. It just feels like it goes against what the band had been about all these years. This whole album tends to be, not even that the songwriting is awful. It's just that the way they crafted the tracks just seemed lazy. They seemed like they wanted to get back out to the clubs, and they're gonna take things that they would never have just taken in demos before. They'll record demos and pretty much be done with it. It feels like it's a very harsh way to say it, but that's how I feel. That's how it feels when I listen to it. There's some good stuff here, some good moments for sure. But at the end of the day, 6 out of 11. I could do worse. You could do much better though as well. So, alrighty, that's going to do it for us this week, folks. Here on PLD Projects Crown Jewels. We will be back next week with the next track on the Hot Space album. That is John Deacon's Back Chat, which, spoiler alert, I like significantly more than I like dancers. So stay tuned there. And, if you can help me out, join our Patreon, patreon.com/PLD Projects. You will get these episodes early by at least a week, sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on how many I record at a time. If you can't do that, I get that. You can like, you can subscribe, you can leave comments and help us out with the algorithm there. Anything you can do to help, we greatly appreciate it. We love you guys, and I will see you next week here on PLD Projects Crown Jewels. Take care.